Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, I am of this view, and this is one of the main reasons why I am making this video, why I am doing this video, because I share the sentiment, at least of the headline. As guys, I bring you this: Dangote's business tactics harmful to Nigerian economy. The United States is the country that is coming out to say this. They are the people saying this, the Americans. So they are saying, in effect, at least off the back of this headline, that the business moves and business interest of Dangote, Aliko Dangote, is injurious to the Nigerian person and the Nigerian state. Again, the headline: Dangote's business tactics harmful to Nigerian economy, a headline attributed to the United States. So now let's now see now what the Americans have to say about the world's richest black man. United States described the Dangote group of companies' business strategy as dangerous to the Nigerian economy. Owned by Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, it is the largest conglomerate in West Africa with over 30,000 employees. A report published in 2010 on WikiLeaks website said even though Dangote played a major role in Nigeria's economy, many products on the country's import ban list are items in which it has major interest. Although an undiluted success in terms of wealth accumulation, Dangote personifies the duality in Nigeria's economy, the American government said, whilst maintaining that the duality presents a dilemma for the country's economic policy. It accused Dangote Group of blocking investment that the company may see as major competitors, noting that weighing everything in balance, we believe the Dangote model is harmful to Nigerian and American interest in the long run. The American government warned, unfortunately, the Dangote model will likely be one of the most emulated until its beggar thy neighbor contradictions become more apparent. It is safe to say the assertion of the American government has been evident in some of the tactics employed by the conglomerate. Dangote Group faced wide criticism in the past years over what detractors described as favoritism from Nigerian government. The company faced backlashes after it called for a total ban on tomato importation in 2019 when it started its tomato processing subsidiary. Barely 2 weeks ago, the conglomerate proposed a provision in the Petroleum Industry Bill (PIB) seeking to ban the importation of oil by companies without refining licenses, which according to the company will help spur investment in Nigeria's oil and gas industry. Dangote also recommended that the volume of fuel imported should be distributed according to what each refinery produces. Aliyu Suleiman, a chief strategist at Dangote, suggested the anti-competition approach during a visit by members of the National Assembly's Joint Committee on PIB to the company's project site. The group proposed that only companies with licenses to refine crude oil should import fuel whenever demand surpasses available fuel and when a refinery is undergoing maintenance. The recommendation came at the time Dangote Group was on the verge of completing a 650,000 barrel per day refinery in Lagos. Financial experts, however, said the Dangote refinery should not be allowed to become a monopoly in the manner of the state-run NNPC, although it remained unclear how the conglomerate will be prevented from holding a monopoly if the controversial clause makes it into the PIB. This is also evident in the reopening of land borders to Dangote Group in November last year, when it was allowed to transport its products to neighboring West African countries. Nigeria had shut its land borders in August to give room for the consumption of homegrown products, but the access granted to the company was said to be based on an authorization issued by the President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration. A businessman and founder of Stanbic IBTC, Atodo Peterside, faulted the move. He asserted that it portrayed Nigeria's economy as favoring only the well-connected, allowing legitimate exporters and importers to move their goods across the border should be a no-brainer, Peterside tweeted. Why refuse everybody else and allow only one company, Dangote? He added, this is why some of us argue that the Nigerian economy is rigged in favor of a handful of well-connected persons. A spokesman for the Dangote Group, Tony Chiajina, declined repeated requests for a reaction to the damning allegations, insisting instead that the reporter should visit him at the company's headquarters in Lagos before comments could be provided. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, we all know that Dangote is favored by the Nigerian government. And in fairness, it is not just the Buhari regime that favors Dangote. Dangote has been favored all the way through since effectively the Babangida regime. You remember a period when Dangote had virtually a monopoly on the importation of rice into Nigeria. Now, Nigeria is the largest importer of rice in the world, not the largest producer, but the largest importer. Nigeria imports more rice than any other country. That's not to say they eat more rice, because of course they eat more rice in the Asian countries, but they grow their own rice. But in terms of importation of rice, Nigeria is the largest importers of rice on the planet. So now, given that, and also given the size of the Nigerian population, and given also the fact that rice is the #1 staple of the Nigerian diet, that is the one meal that every Nigerian goes to. You just put the rice quickly to the boil, and that is your meal taken care of. So Nigerians eat a lot of rice, and there are a lot of Nigerians, and Nigeria, of course, is a large economy. So now imagine one person having a virtual monopoly, in fact, at some point, having an actual monopoly on the importation of rice. This is what Dangote had during the Babangida and subsequently Abacha regime. And when, of course, I don't know what his relationship with Obasanjo, but I'm assuming it was exactly the same. But when Goodluck Jonathan came in, Goodluck Jonathan spoke no other name than Dangote. Dangote was all Goodluck Jonathan ever said. So, of course, he had the Goodluck Jonathan regime under lockdown too. And when Buhari came in, Dangote was actually one of the funders and the backers of the Buhari regime, because he knew that it would be a free-for-all, because one, they share commonality in terms of tribe and religion, and he knew, of course, that he will always outmaneuver Malam Buhari, and he knew especially that Buhari is binary in its nature, and the two elements to him are tribe and religion. So if he ticks those two boxes, which he does, then he just knows that Buhari would open the central bank for him, just to continue to cut as much away as he can. This guy, Dangote, is the #1 criminal within the Nigerian space as far as I am concerned. This refinery that they say that is building in what is his name, in Lekki area in Lagos State, this refinery that they said he is building, this refinery should have been completed 3-4 years ago, even before the end of Goodluck Jonathan's regime. This refinery should have been completed, but of course the monies that is making off the back of that refinery is probably more than he will make if he completes and starts to run that refinery. So now what do I mean? Now, because of the strategic nature of that refinery, the Nigerian government and subsequent Nigerian governments have always made concessions to Dangote because of the strategic importance of that what is his name of that refinery. So the concession that they make to Dangote, especially many concessions, but the key concession is to give him like a subsidized access to foreign currency, so that he can then quickly complete that Dangote, that refinery in I keep forgetting, refinery in Lekki, so that he can quickly complete that refinery in Lekki. So that's the concession that they make. So this guy, let's just use an actual example. If the Central Bank of Nigeria, for instance, is selling the dollar at to 100 naira, that's just an example. That's not the actual price. We all know that it's a lot more than that. But just for the purposes of this example, actually, let's just use 10 to 1. Because it is easier to explain with that. So let's say, for instance, the central bank is selling the dollar as a 10 to 1, so it's 10 naira to a dollar. What the Nigerian government, subsequent Nigerian government, so not just this regime, but going as far back as Goodluck Jonathan, what they did for Dangote was to make a concession to have the central bank sell him that dollar at a discounted price. So if it's 10 to 1 to the rest of the public, they will sell it to Dangote at 9 or 8 to 1. So you will think it's just a small margin of 2 naira, but if you look at the volume of money that this guy transacts in, so if he goes in then and he buys, let's say 5, 10, 15 even, okay, let's use 8. If he goes in and buys $8 billion at that considered rate of 8 to 1 as opposed to 10 to 1, the margin of those 2 naira, the margin of that 2 naira on that, so I think you get the logic anyway. I don't have to break it down into minutiae, but it is really that round tripping of money that this guy has been just doing all the way through that has been slowing down now the progression of that refinery, because there's more money to be made in round tripping the dollar at the concessions that the government is making to him via the central bank than completing that what's it called, the Lekki toll gate, whatever it is that is building there, the refinery. So this is it. It's like a currency deal, some backdoor sweetheart deal that he has ongoing with the Nigerian government. And the other thing is the exact example that this Peter Side, this Stanbic guy, is giving us. When the Nigerian government says that they're shutting down the land borders for import and export, but then they open a corridor for one man and one business, that already then, so what then is the weight of his competitor? How then are his competitors able to compete against him when the Nigerian government has shown an obvious bias towards this guy? And it's the same thing with cement as well. This guy now, he has a virtual monopoly on our cement that he can just sell it at whatever price he likes and milk it for as much as he can, which is what he has been doing. Continues to increase and increase the money on this thing, that if you go to Ghana, you can buy a bag of cement for $10, but if you come to Nigeria, you buy it for $50. I'm just using that as an example. Those are not actual figures. So this is exactly what the Americans are saying, that this Dangote is exactly the biggest danger that the Nigerian economy is contending with. And this is a sentiment that I share as well. But what says you? Come share thoughts. But before you come into the comment section to engage, click on the red subscribe button so it turns grey. The bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Click on like as well, because that helps with the YouTube algorithm. Once you've done all the clickings, the American government are calling out Aliko Dangote. I share in their sentiments, but what are your thoughts? So I'll leave you here. Carry this conversation on with you in the comment section, but here I say peace.